The guidebook said Dharavi was an essential Mumbai experience, a hive of industry. It didn't mention the suffocating grip of the place. I arrived at 4 p.m., the sun already dipping low, casting long, jagged shadows across the corrugated iron roofs. The plan was simple: a quick walk through the pottery district, grab some photos, and be out before dusk. I stepped off the main road and was instantly swallowed. The air was thick, a pungent cocktail of burning plastic, raw sewage, and something else, something ancient and metallic that coated the back of my throat. The noise was deafening, a relentless industrial thrum of sewing machines and metal presses that vibrated in my teeth. I tried to follow Google Maps on my phone, but the blue dot just spun aimlessly, confused by the density. The lanes weren't streets. They were fissures in a mountain of tin and tarp, barely wide enough for my shoulders. Every time I turned, the path behind me seemed to seal itself shut, the architecture rearranging itself to trap me. I was surrounded by a million people, yet completely, utterly alone. The eyes I felt boring into my back as I squeezed past doorways weren't friendly, they felt calculating. An hour in, the light began to fail. It didn't fade gradually. It was choked out of the sky. The narrow sliver of blue above turned a bruised purple, then an inky black. The towering shanties leaned in, their rusty edges blurring against the darkening sky like jagged teeth, waiting to snap shut. The manic energy of the day evaporated, replaced by a heavy, watchful silence. The rhythmic clatter of machinery died down, replaced by the wet cough of a generator somewhere deep in the maze, the crying of an unseen child, and the scuttling of things in the shadows that I prayed were just rats. I walked faster, panic fluttering in my chest like a trapped bird against a cage. Every alley looked identical, a descending tunnel into darkness. I turned right, sure it led back to the main road, but it dead-ended at a towering wall of blue plastic barrels that leaked a chemical smell. I spun around, my breath catching in my throat. Which way had I come? The path was gone. I was standing in a labyrinth that shifted with every step. The heat of the day remained trapped between the metal walls, pressing down on me like a physical weight. Night had fully fallen now. Dharavi was a different beast, entirely in the dark. The only light came from naked, flickering bulbs hanging precariously from wires inside open doorways, casting erratic, sickly yellow pools on the dirt paths. These pools of light didn't illuminate. They created deeper, darker shadows where imagination ran wild, conjuring shapes that seemed to move just outside my peripheral vision. I was running now, stumbling over uneven ground, splashing through oily puddles that reflected the twisted wires above. The air had grown colder, clammy against my sweating skin. I passed an open doorway, where 3 figures sat hunched over a small fire, their faces obscured by smoke. They stopped talking abruptly as I ran past, their heads turning slowly in unison to track my movement. I didn't dare look back. The walls felt like they were closing in physically, the corrugated metal vibrating with a low-frequency hum that seemed to come from the earth itself. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic counter-rhythm to my slapping footsteps. I took another turn, blindly, desperately hoping for a change in scenery, and skidded to a halt. The alley narrowed to a sharp point, blocked by a rusted metal grate welded shut. Another dead end. Behind me, in the silence that followed my sudden stop, I heard a distinct sound, a soft, deliberate footstep crushing gravel. Terror, cold and sharp, flooded my veins, freezing me in place. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. The footstep came again, closer this time, deliberate and unhurried. I couldn't stay there trapped against the grate. I forced myself to turn away from the dead end and backtrack, my body rigid with the expectation of a hand grabbing my shoulder. I turned the corner I had just come from and saw nothing, just the empty, flickering alley stretching back into the darkness. but the sensation of being hunted was undeniable, a primal alarm bell ringing in my brain. I pushed past the paralyzing fear, breaking into a desperate, blind sprint. I didn't care about the noise I was making anymore. I just had to get out. I took a left, then a right, my lungs burning with the acrid air. Then I saw it, way in the distance, past layers of hanging wires and leaning structures, a steady, bright orange glow. A street lamp. A real municipal street lamp on a wide asphalt road. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. I ran towards it, shoving past invisible obstacles, the light growing bigger, brighter, promising safety. I burst out of the final, suffocating alley and onto the 90-feet road like a diver breaking the surface after too long underwater. The noise of traffic, honking horns, auto rickshaw engines, washed over me. It was chaos, but it was open, visible chaos. I fell to my knees on the pavement, gasping for air, the smell of burning plastic still clinging to my clothes like a shroud. I was out, but as I looked back over my shoulder at the immense, dark mass of Dharavi stretching into the night, silent and secretive, I knew a part of me was still lost in there, trapped forever in the shifting maze.
I wanna get to your clothes, gotta get it.